Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Pandering Joe is at it again. This guy never ceases to amaze me. There's no substance here. The level of entitlement is off the charts. And of course, that's been obvious since day one.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. Joe Biden said the quiet part out loud, but really what he was saying is that Democrats feel entitled to the black vote. They don't even have to earn it. And obviously right now Democrats have a little bit of a concern as black voters are ditching them in droves.
Are black voters ditching the Democratic Party? While this group has historically supported Democrats, showing up for Joe Biden back in 2020 in a make or break contest in Georgia that put him in the Oval Office, for example, almost 4 years later, polls show that black voters are checking out, particularly black men.
And so like I mentioned in a previous video, you would expect Democrats to come out with a plan. Look, we understand and see the frustration, and so we're gonna do something about it. Maybe they should present something like a platinum plan for black America like Donald Trump did. Although of course that ship has sailed. As we know, Los Angeles rapper Ice Cube showed a willingness to work with the DNC back in 2020 on exactly that style of plan, but they rejected him outright. But anyways, you'd expect something of substance to hopefully get people back on board. But if you think that's what's gonna happen, if you think that was ever gonna happen, well then you don't know Joe Biden and you don't know the Democrats. They don't like actual plans and substantive policy, no. What they do is pander. We're dipping with black support? Quick, send Kamala Harris to Charlemagne's podcast to talk about smoking the weeds and Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg. Quick, send Hillary Clinton to talk about keeping hot sauce in her purse.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they don't present policies, of course not. What they do is the most insulting, condescending, vapid pandering imaginable, and that's exactly what happened today. As Joe Biden continues to tank in the polls with black voters, he decides the best course of action is to show up at an HBCU and pat himself on the back. Let's just say it wasn't the optics win that Joe Biden was hoping for. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so Joe Biden's Morehouse event already wrapped up, but before he even showed up, it was already a disaster. Here's Morehouse college students chiming in.
I feel like it's just a way to kind of get the black vote and the young vote and to help his election, because I believe he knows that less and less people are in support of him, especially with his handling of Israel and Palestine and his banning of TikTok and the aid that he is sending to countries and just the kind of economic state of the United States right now.
Some students have strongly criticized Biden's invitation, given his administration's support for Israel.
I'm not a fan of his coming here for multiple reasons. It looks very good on paper that President Biden is coming to speak at Morehouse College. It's considered very prestigious, whatever, but I think a lot of the seniors are suffering because of it. But I think, of course, ideologically, I think his being here, especially the possible conferment of an honorary degree, is very inconsistent with the values of this institution.
Nobody wants him there, specifically because it's obvious what he's doing. It's obvious that it's nothing but an empty political ploy. You know, the typical Biden grift. Actually, Donald Trump was making some jokes on stage referencing this Biden grift.
He's all about disinformation. Pilots come in, he said, I used to fly a plane. Truckers come in, I used to drive a truck. People come in from Minnesota. I used to live in Minnesota. Right? He is so full of shit, this guy. Terrible.
If Joe Biden visits truckers, he tells them that he was a trucker too. If Joe Biden visits coal miners, he tells them about how he grew up in the mines. Joe Biden goes to Minnesota and he tells the people from Minnesota, hey, I'm from Minnesota too. Well, in this case, Joe Biden goes to an HBCU and once again attempts to cast himself as the modern day Nelson Mandela. Here he is saying that he ran for office to, quote, embrace the cause of civil rights.
I left the fancy law firm I had just joined and decided to become a public defender and then a county councilman, working to change our state's politics to embrace the cause of civil rights.
Also on the same day, he said this at an NAACP event.
My name's Joe Biden, and I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. Matter of fact, the first organization I ever joined was the NAACP. Didn't get to vote till you were 21 in those days, but I got involved in civil rights when I was 15.
He, quote, got involved in civil rights when he was 15. What a liar. Joe Biden also said that HBCUs, quote, got him elected.
But with a broad coalition, including students from the best HBCU in America, Delaware State University. You guys are good. But they got me elected. Y'all think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding.
And that he's got Morehouse men in the White House telling him what to do.
I got more Morehouse men in the White House telling me what to do than I know what to do. You all think I'm kidding, don't you? You know I'm not. And it's the best thing that's happened to me.
Nothing but lie after lie after lie after lie. And of course he had to mention George Floyd.
I stood up for George Floyd's family to help create a country. We don't need to have that talk with your son or grandson as they get pulled over.
But of course the biggest lie of all was Joe Biden telling the crowd to, quote, check his record.
Many of you graduates don't know me, but check my record. You know what I'm saying. I mean from my gut.
That's an interesting request, an interesting challenge. Let's check Joe Biden's record on the issue of racism.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little bit.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
Joe Biden, a civil rights trailblazer. Yeah, right. Joe Biden's the guy who was talking about not wanting his kids to grow up in a racial jungle, the guy who eulogized KKK member Robert Byrd. This guy is the biggest scoundrel. It's not even funny. This event was supposed to be an optics win for Joe Biden, showing up at an HBCU, getting all the black support back. But obviously that isn't happening. The crowd wasn't with him at all. In fact, some individuals in the crowd had their backs turned to the man. Literally.
All hope was lost. In our lives, in the lives of the nation, we have those Saturdays to bear witness. The day before glory.
Yikes, not exactly a good look. Let's quickly sum up the event. Joe Biden announces he's going to Morehouse College during a time where he's tanking with black support. It's viewed negatively upon announcement. He then takes to the stage, lies a bunch, then he fails to regurgitate a bunch of left-wing talking points, BS rhetoric like this.
Today in Georgia, they won't allow water to be available to you while you wait in line to vote in an election. What in the hell is that all about? I'm serious. Think about it.
They won't let you bring water to people waiting in the lines to vote. Debunked nonsense. But obviously Joe Biden's trying to make a point about voter suppression. We get more empty promises and empty pandering about student loan relief.
When the Supreme Court told me I couldn't, I found 2 other ways to do it.
Oh, he's gonna get it done all right. No, he isn't. He's frickin' lying. Then a bunch of moments where Joe looks dazed and confused as usual.
In the Division of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, and the Department of Psychology. Post-graduation.
And then the university presents him with an honorary degree.
I confer upon you, Joseph R. Biden, Jr., the Honorary Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. Congratulations, Dr. Joseph Biden.
I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. I've never seen a more empty, self-serving event in my life. No wonder people had their backs turned on this clown. Again, he's the biggest scoundrel in politics. He went there with no message of substance, no actual promise for the future, no vision, just a bunch of lies, patted himself on the back and then walked off stage immediately. And this is supposed to be the DNC's play to get the black vote back on track. What an absolute monumental failure. What Joe Biden once again proves why he's the absolute worst. Obviously, this won't work. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.